Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and I am hoping this is going to work. We'll see. Sometimes, filming screens doesn't work real well, but we're going to give this a try. This is day 6. Let's see. Day 6 of Lenormand or Lenormarch, and it is about what decks are on our wish list. So I'm going to try this so I can actually show them to you. So we'll see. This is my wish list for Lenormand type decks, and this is at my very top. This is the Burning Serpent by Robert M. Place, and here you can see, hopefully, it is, and it calls it the Burning Serpent Oracle. It is a little bit more of an oracle-y deck. Look at the cards. We can share. Okay, look at the flaming tree. So this is definitely pushing traditional Lenormand towards more of an oracle. There are extra cards. I want this very badly. This is very high on my list. Maybe next month I need to prioritize. I forget how much I want it until I see it. It's not a cheap deck. Let's see. That would be good. It's $40 plus $7 shipping in the U.S., $35 for international shipping. And now having had to ship a couple international things lately, I'm starting to see why, because it's pretty pricey right now to ship international, which is too bad. But even $40 is a lot for me for a Lenormand deck. But this is very high on my list, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And yes, so I will eventually be getting this one. So that's one that's on the top of my playing list. Now, Mr. Lunar has also made me aware in his list of the Hermes Playing Card Oracle. This is a deck of 52 cards, much like with the Black Hand Lenormand, which I understand is out of print right now, but that there is going to be being released in regular playing card size. So I'm excited about that, and I will probably get that one playing card size. However, this is a 52 card deck as well. In the Lenormand cards that correlate with the Lenormand, it has Lenormand symbols, as well as other symbols that you can use it as Lenormand, as a whole oracle system, or as just a regular playing card set. So yeah, this has moved quite up there, second probably to the other one. But this also is $30, so it's a 52 card deck, which is $30 plus the $7 shipping, or the $35 for 1 to 8 decks. So I guess if you wanted to get both the Hermes and the Robert Place Serpent's Oracle, maybe that would be better if you're international. But yeah, these two are pretty much on the top of my list for sure. So there's two. Another one from Mr. Lunar, and I think also Brenda. Oops, why is Etsy popping up? Oh, because it's an Etsy shop, sorry. This one's going to be a little bit harder to see, but you can go to Mr. Lunar's. This one is going to, from what I can tell and what he says, be gorgeous. It's a Russian deck, so it has Russian up here, but we do have the regular, and truthfully, look, we have a ship right here. So this is going to go beautiful with my Bohemian Gothic. Look at the backing. Yeah, so that one again, a little pricey, $37.31. It comes from Russia. I'm not sure what the shipping, well, let's just see if it will tell us what the shipping will be. I'm not going to continue to try to figure it out, but I'm sure it's not going to be cheap. That's not high on my list because I do use the Black Hand Lenormand with my Bohemian Gothic. So that's not super high on my list, but I kind of stuck it in there because I want to make sure to really look at it closely. So far, Robert Place's 2 decks are super high on my list. Let's see. This is the Tarot by 7 Silhouettes. Now, this one I did have on my list, although definitely I was reminded of it yet again by Mr. Lunar. Don't watch Mr. Lunar's things. Now, this one you can get as a mini deck for 16, bridge size for 30, and then you can get both of them for 40, or you can get a mat for 45, which he shows you, or you can get the whole set for 65. So these are just silhouettes, but they're quite gorgeous. And let's see if we can get, oh no, I didn't want that. Well, I thought this was going to be a good idea, but you know, they're silhouettes. I thought I'd be able to, oh, here we go. I don't know what it's doing. It's trying to do something and we don't want, oh, that's giving us the backings, which I don't want. So we're going to just go on because that is just silhouettes, but it's got a very vintage background and then white silhouette. So, you know, very clear, very precise. I think it's quite gorgeous. The Malpertius, yeah, I shouldn't even never have gone to this website, and I stopped myself from even looking. It is quite a lovely deck. I don't know if it will show a spread simulator. I don't want a simulator. Can I just look at the deck? Let's see. Well, I had really good intention. Oh, is it changing? Yes, okay. I was going to say I had, wow! This was really I thought I had a good idea. This is $30 plus postage and packaging. To the U.S. that's 14 pounds. It's 30 pounds. I don't know transfer rate. I know it's fairly, I don't know. It's going to be expensive. So this is not a cheap deck either. I will get the Robert Place before I get this one, but I do think it's quite lovely. I think you can see those. Why they don't show storks in flight, I don't know, but the bird, look at the birds card. That one I think is gorgeous. So it's really quite lovely. This again, it's gorgeous and I want it at some point, but it's not, it doesn't supersede the Robert Place for me. So the Robert Place is like the top one. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the other one that I want is on Amazon quite cheaply, although it is coming from the UK, so, but even then shipping is still pretty cheap. This is the Lenormand, I'm not going to say it, but it's a German deck, and Wild Moon Tarot had this, let's see if we can zoom in a little, has this on her, oh my gosh. There are some times that iPads can be annoying, but it's very simple. The colors though are quite lovely. And it's not going to let me, there we go. I was going to try to zoom in. They're quite sweet. If you see her, if you go on her channel, she does, I think, a reading on her channel with it. And I really like the colors. It seems very precise as to what the image is. So I quite like the look of that. So that one's up there, and that's not an expensive deck. The other one that's not an expensive deck, excuse me, is the Bluebird Lenormand. I would like to have that one. It's just a very classic. This doesn't show any images of it, but that one's on my list. Anna Kay, which I just did a walkthrough of her tarot deck, she's in the process of making a Lenormand deck that looks quite beautiful. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Let's go back. But clearly you can see there's not a whole lot. There's fish. It looks like you can just, that idea of pulling in abundance, right? That's quite lovely. There's a mountain. So, I mean, this is in process. So this is obviously one that you kind of watch and see what comes. Look at that mountain, though. It's gorgeous. So it's just one I'm kind of keeping my eye on. Lisa Hunt also has one, but I don't know. It looks a little bit busy. I'm not sold on that one. So those are the main ones that are on my list right now. Lenormand decks tend to be I'll just stumble on one and it'll be kind of more of an impulse buy, which, and I have a lot of my impulse buy ones. So for me, it really does come down to the Robert Place, and it's just not a cheap deck. But this will probably be this one or my Waterhouse Oracle that I really want. Those would probably be, you know, the next decks that I do. I was kind of thinking of doing this one in March, but then I just got totally sucked into an out of print. It wasn't bad. I got an excellent deal on it, but I just got sucked into a tarot deck, so that's probably going to be March's deck. So maybe April. Oh dear. So that is that's my wish list at the moment. Again, that's always in flux. I'm always you know, I'll see something and just throw it on there, take something off after I look at it closely. You know, my wish lists are definitely those kinds of things that go on and off, just depending upon mood. So, oops, let me back it up a little bit. I want to just show you a fun thing because somebody asked me about my charm casting videos. So I wanted to just show you a fun thing that I do with charms sometimes. And Lenormand, because, you know, fun tips, fun tips. Actually, I wanted to do 2 quick tips because one person had asked me about my Significator cards. And since we're kind of going into card meanings, I thought this would be a nice way. I actually don't use a ton. You know, sometimes it's very much on the question. So if somebody was going to be asking me a very specific question, I will think about what card might go with that specifically. You know, if somebody's really waiting for a message and trying to figure out what a message is about, you know, then I might, you know, pick the letter card, that kind of thing. My main significators for me, you know, if it's about a child, their child, and or something new, a new project that they're doing, then I would pick the child card. If somebody's looking, what is the key to their success? Like when they're trying to make a transition into another job that they want to be successful at, or they're trying to successfully complete a project, then I might go to the key card. So there's different things like that. The fish card is about finances. If somebody had a question about, so any card in the deck can be a significator card. Now there are certain traditional ones, such as the heart is for relationships, right? For love. This is who, you know, we're in love with. So if somebody wants to know about their romance, their relationship, then I would look to the heart card. Obviously, the man card would be their significant other, and or vice versa with the woman card. I use the moon card, truthfully. Some things about if somebody has a question about their spiritual path, which does come up. I know people think that Lenormand is very practical, but I do actually do quite a few readings that aren't, because I do 3 voices, so I do use Lenormand on all kinds of questions, not just practical ones. And so I'll use the moon for kind of that spiritual path. I also use the moon card for a business, secondary business. So if somebody has a regular job, which for me is the anchor card, but they are trying to build their heart business, a business that their heart is involved in, a business that is, for whatever reason, that's the moon card for me. It's just kind of worked out that way. It made sense when I started to do it, and now it's just kind of locked into being what I do. You know, obviously, if the surrounding family are home issues, somebody trying to sell a house, somebody thinking about moving their house, you know, you can use the house card. Somebody's having communication issues. This is about harmony and trying to find harmony. What's my best path to harmony, right? Knowledge, schooling. If somebody's got a question about college, which comes up a lot, or training in a different factor, then I would look to the book card for that. This is about well-being. People use this as the health card. I don't read strictly for health, but if you did, that's the card you probably would use. The anchor for me is the work card. If somebody is just trying to, you know, has so many things weighing down on them and needs to try to figure out what is it, you know, really, that could also be the cloud card. Travel, somebody's getting ready to go traveling somewhere and wants to get some information about, you know, what they need to pay attention to, then that. The path card a lot I use for choices. Somebody's got a choice that they have to make, and I might do a 9 card or look at it in the grand tableau. Obviously the female. stars, you know, that's kind of going towards your destiny. Somebody feels completely blocked and they just need some more information about this blockage, then I would go to that. Somebody has questions about their marriage, or even a job commitment. You know, this is about commitment and contracts sometimes, that kind of feeling of, you know, a long-term commitment to something. So any card in this deck can be a significator card. It just depends on the question that's being asked. But the main ones that I look at, if I'm just doing a general, you know, I'll look to the significator, the man or the woman. Obviously, most people want to know about relationships, so I'll look to the heart. I'll look to the anchor for work situations. You look to the fish for finances. You know, those are kind of some main things that you'll touch on, and then it just depends on the question that the person has or that you have. So it's really getting to know the cards so that when you ask your question, you kind of think to yourself, okay, what speaks that for me? You know, what if if my question is about wanting to the moon one doesn't make, I don't know why I came up with the moon one for a heart business, but I did. You could also use your stars as going towards your destiny. You know, if you're trying to find harmony, for me, that's because it's about, you know, harmony is about lilies, so I'll do the lily card. So that's how I choose if somebody wants to find happiness. So here we go. Let's see what information I can gain about, you know, kind of finding my way towards happiness, right? Then I would look to the sun card. So what I would do is I would shuffle that, you know, obviously thinking about my question. You know, maybe I'm not in the best place. And I really need to kind of reestablish my sense of happiness because, you know, I do believe that happiness in some degrees is a choice. The things that happen to us are not choices, but how we respond to those and our overall sense of happiness, we can't look to other people for. We have to have that within ourselves. And so then I would look for, let's say, the sun card, because that's what I've decided to focus on for this reading. So there it is, and I'm going to take my 4 cards after and my 4 cards before. And I'm going to make my 9 card. And so then I'm going to always look to the corners because that corner always tells me in a 9 card what I'm going to be looking at and what the main idea is. And we have that house card, so it's about stability for me. Like, I need stability in order to feel happiness. That's important. I looked at the corners. I need, you know, knowledge is important to me, and this kind of a sense of good luck and good fortune with my work. With what I'm doing in work is going to help increase. Putting my energies into my work is going to help me to you know, move towards happiness, my sense of well-being, and a loyalty to my sense of well-being. So a loyalty that my well-being, my sense of my roots, my rootedness, my sense of feeling healthy, feeling good about myself, that is something I need to be committed towards. I need to be loyal towards. I need to be my own friend in terms of my health, in terms of taking care of myself, eating better, exercising more. You know, that's all going to impact my my sense of happiness. So, you know, so I go about and I go ahead and read this on that, and so that has been charged with that. Now, I just wanted to quickly, I'm going to wrap this up, but somebody had asked me about charms. I really like the combination of Lenormand and charms, and I often use a mat that I've made that has the Lenormand houses on it, and then I use that to cast a charms on it, and I use the houses as sort of positions, right? So let's say I've done this reading and I was like, okay, I just want to have a little bit more information. So I'm just going to kind of dig around without looking at it. And I know this is very loud. But I might just take a little bit of a handful and kind of cast out, although that was pretty sad casting. But I might want to cast these a little bit better, a little bit higher up so that they can spread a little. But then I would look to see what I'm looking at. And I see that my health, you know, there's 3 things this I would consider on the house. These, look, we have a lot going on in the happiness. We have some things that are going, we actually have harmony showing up here. We have the stability, which is the house, which is reversed. So I might want to pay attention to that. And when I would go to find that, that's actually here in the reading. So that's important to pay attention to. This to me would be considered off of it. It was touching it. So I guess some people, for me, most of it was off. So I wouldn't count that. In the happiness, we have the letter reversed. So paying attention to messages that are coming. We also have the vampire, which Al sent me, or the bat, and this speaks to me about my energy being drained, but it was reversed. So a key, keeping a track of my energy and not letting it become drained is going to be key to my happiness. The Tower card is always very key for me in terms of happiness. I need to know when to step back and recharge. I can't recharge out in the midst and with people and being social. I have to step back. So I would look to that. Here we have actually the bouquet, which shows up in here, but it's reversed in the stability. And so that's something that I would pay attention to. Because I like the house, it's shown up both in the reading and in the charms. Now for charms, for me, when they're reversed, it's not the reverse meaning. It's more about paying attention to that. And we can even see that reflected here, because we have my sense of stability, but we also have the bouquet being eaten away by the mice, right? So we already, in the card layout itself, can see that I need to pay attention to the lily card, because it's being eaten away by the mice. And so, or I'm sorry, yeah, by the mice. But so that idea of, happiness, this is also the happiness card, right? I think of the sun as happiness, and I think some of that is because of tarot. But it is also the happiness, success is growth card. But this is also the happiness card. And so my sense of well-being and stability if I'm not feeling stable and sense of structure there, that's going to eat away at my happiness. It's going to eat away at my good fortune. And that's been doubled by the fact that this has shown up flipped. So I need to pay attention to that sort of, the stability is important for me. In the sense of well-being, I have the snake, which means it's a winding road for me, which is completely the truth. Matters of good eating practices and exercising practices is a winding road. And so that's something I need to pay attention to. It's a journey. And it's not going to be a short journey, because the journey for me is like the ship card. This is the ship card for me. And so that's that sense that it's a long-term commitment to health and well-being. And I need to pay attention to it because it's been flipped over like that. So that's just a quick way of showing how you can kind of mix. Like I said, I will do the entire reading for first as Lenormand as it is, and then I will use some charms like this to kind of clarify or point out important things and see what else there is to say about a particular message that I'm getting. And this is actually quite an appropriate reading for me and my sense of happiness and growth. So there we have it, just a couple little tips. And just a little PS, that's something that you can also do with tarot. I definitely do that. Obviously, this isn't an actual reading, but I don't actually like the idea of throwing things on my Mary L. I'm very protective of this deck. I'm much more casual, I will say, with my Lenormand deck. But you can just kind of randomly pull some cards or pull some charms and do the same thing at the end of a tarot reading, just for you tarot people out there. I do this as well, although I will say that I find myself doing it more often with Lenormand than with tarot. But I did want to at least pop on here and just make note that it is something that you could use with any kind of card system, oracle cards, anything. It's just kind of like a clarifying and adds an extra layer. So if you have charms, that's just one way to be able to incorporate that into your readings. So, okay, now I'm leaving.